Hey, good morning, guys. Today I thought I'd talk about the CICO or CICO model. That's calories in, calories out, depending on how you pronounce it and whatever. That's kind of what we're going to discuss today. So we're going to go over a few things. We're going to go over what a calorie is. We're going to go over how they were measured, how humans are related to this. Essentially, some empirical information and how you really should avoid the concept of calories. All right, they're irrelevant to our purposes here for health. So what's a calorie? A calorie is the amount of heat required to raise through 1 degree centigrade a cubic centimeter of water, which is 1 gram. The one centigrade. So you will apply heat to a cubic centimeter of water, 1 gram, and it will go up 1 degree centigrade. That's a calorie. What they're referring to in food are called kcalories or kilocalories or big C calories. All right? So that's, you take a kilogram of water and you raise it 1 degree centigrade, and that's what they call a calorie. It does exist. It is a photon. It's heat. Calories travel at the speed of light. So if you want to do this experiment, I've done it. Take a liter bottle of water, all right, put it on a scale, pour exactly 1 kilo of water into it, 1,000 grams. Cap that tightly, put it in your freezer overnight. The next day, your freezer is normally set to about -18 centigrade. I want you to pull it out, weigh it, and then I want you to set it to the side and let it warm up to the ambient air temperature, where here is about 35 degrees centigrade, all right? So you don't have to do all these maths in your head. I'll go ahead and give you a quick rundown of what happens. So the water is at -18 degrees centigrade. It has to get to 0. At 0, we've lost 18 degrees centigrade, all right? Or have gained 18 degrees centigrade in that closed bottle of water. Then we need another 55 calories, all right? And we're using the literal calories here. Well, actually, you can say kcalories because we have 1,000 grams of water in that bottle. So that entire bottle, in order to change state from frozen to liquid, required an extra 55 calories just to convert from solid to liquid. And then we take that from 0 to 35 degrees. So in my simple math, I have the 18 degrees to get to 0, and then we add 55 for the change of state, and then we add 35 calories. All right, so that's 108 calories. That's about an egg and a half, right? And an egg and a half will weigh about 100 grams, which is kind of interesting, isn't it? So I can expect that water to have gone from 1 kilogram at frozen, -18 centigrade. I should put that 35 degrees centigrade bottle, 1 kilogram of mass, back on the scale, and lo and behold, it read 1,100 grams. No, it didn't. It stayed exactly 1 kilogram. So adding 108 calories to that bottle raised the mass of that water exactly 0. There was no mass change. There was a volume change. The lid was capped, so there is a pressure change. But it absorbed photons. It absorbed heat. It did not absorb mass. Keep that in mind for a moment. So your macros, your proteins, fats, and carbohydrates are based on these mathematical equations. So what they did is they take a piece of bread, for example, they put it in what's called a bomb. It's a little container, and they fill it with oxygen, so everything will combust completely. And they put electrodes into the bread. Now what they do is they sink that bomb into a measured amount of water, and they have a thermometer there. And this whole contraption is called a bomb calorimeter. And what they do is they go, roll on one, and zzz, they send a powerful electrical charge through that and essentially turn that bread into carbon. Oddly enough, it's the exact same mass. Nothing happened to the mass. The bread just converted from whatever it was to whatever can no longer be combusted using the oxygen and the electricity, the energy available. And that radiated through the bomb into the water, where they measured it and said, that piece of bread contains this many units of heat. But I can do the same thing with charcoal. I can take a little piece of charcoal, you light up at the barbecue. I can put that in oxygen, I can set electrodes, and I can go ahead and hit it. And the calorie count on that is going to be immense. It's really going to be huge. Charcoal has an awful lot of potential energy in it. However, if you eat a piece of charcoal, your body's going to receive 0 calories from that charcoal. It's just going to go right through you. Now, the bread is going to undergo a different set of changes. The point is the mass didn't change, all right? So humans are enzymatic digesters. Our bodies are not mathematicians, all right? If you eat a piece of charcoal, your body's going to go, what is that? I don't know, flush it. The piece of bread, however, it's going to go, well, that's just a bunch of fiber, which we can't use, so flush that. And, it has a lot of carbohydrates. Wait, it has some protein. Yeah, but that's gluten. We can't use that either, so just get rid of it. We can't use the gluten. Ow, and that hurts. Hey, that stings. Yeah, gluten is very bad for the intestinal tract. So what winds up happening is we go ahead and we will turn any of the starchy portions of that bread into sugars. If there was any milk made with the bread, sometimes people add butter, milk, sugar, flour, maybe an egg, right? The egg protein would be usable. The milk protein would be usable. The gluten, absolutely not. Matter of fact, it's poisonous to us. But at the end of the day, it winds up breaking down into a little bit of protein, and then the main sugars are glucose, fructose, and galactose. Galactose from the milk. Galaxy, Milky Way, milk. Get it? There's the correlation from galactose there. Fructose normally from fruit, but it's contained in the table sugar that they added. So what your body does is, we have a bunch of sugar mass, and we have to get rid of that because it becomes a certain amount of milligrams per deciliter in our blood. And what we can't use for energy immediately, the liver turns into triglycerides. Those flow throughout the body, and what can't be converted immediately gets turned to fat mass, right? So again, I keep referring to mass because we look at calories as protein 4 kcals per gram, right? Carbohydrates are 4 kcals per gram. Fats are 9 kcals per gram. So what's the common there? Well, you can get rid of the kcalorie part because, again, that's heat energy. It's massless. But we are interested in the grams. So what they did is they went backwards. They took the actual grams and converted it into this concept called calories. Now, there's a reason calories exist because in the body, if you're eating food is defined as material mass that you eat, without which your body will get sick and die. Now, that means food is essentially non-plant materials for the body. We don't have enzymes to break down the fiber. We have enzymes, if we can get in through the fiber to get to the sugars, we can break those down, again, into their 3 biggies, right? Their 3 monosaccharides, one sugar. And again, that would be glucose, fructose, and galactose. But if we eat fats and meats, those have feedback loops for us. All right, the fats immediately get into our system. Our stomach begins to expand. We have physical satiety and chemical satiety. And if you eat gingerly, correctly, grab 6, 8 eggs, grab some steak, a little bit of butter on it, maybe some salt, follow it up with some water. Your body's eventually going to either say, hey, my stomach's getting big, slow down, stop, you're full, or these fats are going to actually come up to the side of your neck. The fats will go right through the lymphatic system, pour into the vena cava. The heart will squeeze it to all the fat cells, and through a series of biochemical reactions, the fat cells are going to signal the brain saying, you're full, bruh, stop eating. And that's it. However, calories had to be invented because there was no feedback loop for carbohydrates. So you can very easily overeat carbohydrate mass because the body has no feedback loop for it. And in our ancient history, there's a reason for that. When carbohydrates might have been available, and we knew we were heading into a harsh winter, especially up in North Europe, for example, that's where all my genes come from, we'd have pears and apples, and we'd have these autumn fruits, which we were able to gorge on, and we would get fat in order to survive the lean winter, which lasted anywhere between 4 and 6 months, depending. Maybe we could find a reindeer. We could probably fish pretty often. Salt water doesn't freeze over. So anyway, chasing that down, coming back, our bodies use enzymes to digest food. And it has no enzymes to digest things that aren't food, and that would be all carbohydrates. Because again, the body can make all the carbohydrates necessary, so we don't need to eat them ever. So in this case, calories are quite irrelevant. You can look at me. I have some pretty well-defined, uninflamed parts of my neck that you can say, wow, yeah, man, I can see his tendons. I'm a pretty proper human specimen. I weighed in yesterday at 90 kilos. That's about 195 pounds to 200 pounds, right in there. And I eat every day about 4,000 calories. I'll put down about 8 eggs, and I'll eat more than a pound of meat. And all of that will be cooked either in tallow, lard, or butter. I salt my food to taste, and I drink water. That is a minimum of 4,000 calories. I eat twice as much as the recommended daily allowance of a standard 2,000 calorie diet. So why am I not fat? Why do I not have extra fat mass laying around? No fat. There's no fat in this arm. Normally, if I'd hit that when I was, 2 years ago, and I was close to 300 pounds, that would have wobbled around for a while. All right? No way, man. I'm built solid as Sears, man. If you guys are old enough to remember that ad. So avoid the concept of calories. They're ridiculous. It's irrelevant where the human being and food mass come together, if you will, intersect. Well, what the heck do I do then? Well, just eat food. Food is anything that doesn't contain carbohydrates. Yes, eggs contain about 0.3 grams per every 100 grams. Statistically, goose egg. All right. So let's just call eggs a carb-free fruit, carb-free food. You can eat all those you want, all those that you can. As a matter of fact, I recommend that you eat until you can't eat anymore. All right. I think my next episode is going to be what I eat in a day, just so that you kind of get the gist of what's going on. And then when you're done with your eggs, I like to start. Those are my hors d'oeuvres, if you will. I start with the eggs, and then I go into the meats, and I just eat, and all of a sudden I'm full. Whatever's left, I just put in a little container and throw it in the fridge. And I'll eat that the next day with my next stack of stuff. So I'll eat some eggs. I'll go ahead and eat my little leftover, and then I'll dig into the other meat. And I shop daily, and my body tells me kind of what I need. I just go, what am I desiring today? Do I want chicken, fish, pork, beef? What is it? And that's it. So at the end, the CICO or CICO model, calories in, calories out, is an irrelevant concept to use regarding human nutrition. Ignore it. And one last little anecdote from Professor Bart Kay. They are allowed to err in your calories 20% too many, or not quite, up to the mean of 20%. So these calories can be off by almost half. And the amount of mass you eat will determine how heavy you get. If you excrete the same amount of mass that you take in the day before, you're going to maintain your weight. And that's exactly what I've done. I've maintained 90 kilos for the last year and almost 8 months. Because whatever I'm eating, I'm either pooping, peeing, sweating, breathing, tearing out. That's it. That's all there is to it. And in fact, if you eat a heavier fat macro, guess what? You get to eat less than half the amount of weight of food that somebody else would eat if they indulge in, say, too many proteins or too many carbohydrates. So I'll leave you with that. You guys have a great day, and it is Sunday, Father's Day, at least in the new world as far as I know. So happy Daddy's Day to everyone who's a daddy, and we'll chat again soon. Have a great one. Bye.